welcome back, guys. We're having a look still at the questions that you have sent to me for On the Spot 11. The next question comes to us from Jack Gelder. OTS, have you watched Iron Man 3 and why did you stop doing TMNT Legos? I have seen Iron Man 3. I really liked it. And in fact, I did do a Spot's Thought. So if you want to check out my review, and a lot of my reviews will end up being on Spot's Thought. So if you want to check out and follow Spot's Thought, by all means, you can certainly do that. As for TMNT figure Legos, it's not that I'm not interested. I mean, I'd like to still pick up the Baxter Stockman, maybe the Sewer playset, but it's just that there's so many other things out there, like with the Man of Steel Legos, some of the Marvel, like I haven't done any of the Iron Man 3 Legos. It's just that Spot's only got so much of this, so much, that unfortunately, unless I'm able to have people send me things to review, I can't unfortunately review everything. Unfortunately, Spot still has to put food on the table and all those adult things. So unfortunately, I try to do as much as I can, but sometimes I'm still at the mercy of that. I'm buying a lot of these things that I just don't have the time where I can review every single thing that's out there right now, because then you guys would see so many videos coming out of this channel. You guys would probably be totally overloaded and you'd be like, I can't do any more review Spot videos. He's just got too many. That's usually why I upload as many as I do. It was just because if not, I have just a backlog of videos. I have backlogs of videos now that I just have not uploaded yet. And that's sometimes why I have to put so many out there, is just to kind of whittle down what I have so to make room for more things to review. I would still consider getting the Baxter Stockman Lego again, or if somebody would like to send it my way, Spot's always, certainly open for, to review stuff that you guys want to send. But I will consider it. I definitely will consider it. The next question comes to us from That Extreme Guy. OTS, how do you have any room for your collection? I've noticed that you put out tons of content weekly. Where do you store it all? Essentially, it's still really comes down to I put it in totes. I got a lot of totes, which is unfortunate. I don't have room for stuff on shelves. I have some things on shelves. Some of my horror figures, like right now I'm looking over, I've got all my Gizmo Gremlins figures out. I've got my new 52 Justice League figures out. Some puzzle boxes. But a lot of my stuff is in totes just because I don't have space. If you were to go into my place right now, you would see probably a relatively compact, organized section, but if you open up my closet, I have totes upon totes upon totes upon totes. So, next question comes to us from the Benny Blanco 519. OTS, Kevin Sorbo versus Chuck Norris. Who will be the winner? Also, what is your favorite or most memorable WWF moment of all time? Keep in mind, I said WWF, not WWE. Kevin Sorbo versus Chuck Norris. I'm gonna say Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is granted a lot older than Kevin Sorbo, but I think Chuck Norris, when Chuck Norris takes off his belt, the earth rotates and goes back in time. I just made that up. That's a horrible example for Chuck Norris. But Chuck Norris, as old as he still is awesome. Kevin Sorbo, yes, he was Hercules, but thinking he's not as awesome. Just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. What's your favorite or most memorable WWF moment of all time? That is a good one. I'm going to say one of my favorites is still Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage. And that was at, I believe, WWF Superstars on Saturday afternoon. I still remember Macho Man with the ring bell, jumping off the top rope, hitting Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in the throat, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat having throat injuries, to which then he was off for a bit. Then you saw Ricky the Dragon Steamboat training. I think he was fighting against ninjas. I think he was training against ninjas from what memory serves me. And then he comes back, and it's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Randy Macho Man Savage at the Pontiac Silverdome, WrestleMania 3. Good memories. good memories. In fact, a lot of good memories for me revolve around WrestleMania 3. There's a lot of things that stand out to me. I think Honky Tonk Man, Jake the Snake Roberts, that was a big one for me. Of course, Andre the Giant ripping off the chain from Hulk Hogan in Piper's Pit. Yeah, some good times. That was some good times. Other things that stand out in my mind. Saturday night's main event was a big deal for me back then. And I think it was probably a big deal for a lot of people in the 80s, because Saturday night's main event was the time that you could see a superstar fighting a superstar. Because on Superstars, as you know, it was always like Iron Mike Sharp, the Brooklyn Brawler, no-name guys fighting big-name guys. And somehow, we as kids were so stupid to think, ooh, maybe Iron Mike Sharp might actually win this one. Are you kidding me? No. It was always the superstars that won. Whereas Saturday night's main event, you always had the big names versus the big names. And I think, wasn't that where Earthquake crushed Damien? Wasn't that Saturday night's main event? I can't remember. Trying to put my finger. See, unfortunately, I'm trying to remember in my vast mind that's sometimes a black hole. I think there was also a match where Kamala faced. Did Kamala face Jake the Snake Roberts, and Kim Chi took off his mask, and it was Honky Tonk Man or something like that? I can't remember. But certainly the ones that really stand out to me are Shawn Michaels kicking Marty Jannetty through the window of the barbershop. That's a big one for me. And I probably would say Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is probably my number one. Just because I was such a huge Ricky the Dragon Steamboat fan, huge Jake the Snake Roberts fan. So, like, anything that involved those two were big memories for me. I didn't mean to scare you with my hand just popping out of nowhere. Next question comes to us from... did I just miss... I think I missed one. No, I didn't. Okay, cool. Next one comes to us from Tim Austin OTS. Do you have any of the original TMNT toys? If so, will you review them? Have you ever seen the new TMNT show? If so, what are your thoughts? Let me just adjust the camera right here. When I was younger, I had a whole ton of Ninja Turtle toys. I was somebody that also was, that was the first army builder I think I had too, because I had like 3 foot soldiers. I had Casey Jones. I had Krang in his little robot exo walker suit. Had all the turtles, April O'Neil, Splinter. Had Slash. I'm trying to think, Bebop Rocksteady, I had those. I'm trying to think of anyone else that I really had. Oh, Metalhead, I had him. Unfortunately, Spot, when he was younger, probably made the big mistake that a lot of collectors made in the 80s. They got a little older and they thought to themselves, you know what? I really don't need this collection anymore. I'm going to get rid of it. And I remember donating it. It was a good cause, but I donated it to the church rummage sale. And some kid got them all. And I think he got them for... I think the church had asked for $10 for the whole bag. And it had all of those mint. Well, not mint, but they were... I cared for my stuff very well when I was a kid. I never lost pieces, never broke my toys. So, I mean, he got all those things for a steal. I also got rid of a lot of my cops toys, Central Organization of Police Specialists. I had all the cops toys. I got rid of those, which was a shame. Oh, so regret it. Have I seen the new TMNT show? I've seen a couple of episodes. It's not too bad, but to be honest, I'm really not a fan of the CG. Just really, for me, I'm not a big fan of the CG. I probably would watch a couple more episodes. The hard part here in Canada, it's hard finding it on TV. I know it's on Saturdays, but sometimes I just forget that it's on, and I just don't end up watching it. But I would give it more chance. I would definitely give it more of a chance. Next question comes to us from the Mr. Decepticon Leader. Good day to you, sir, and thank you again for following my channel. Have you read any of the Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic books? If you have, what did you think of them, and would you like to see a movie for it? I would love to see a Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash movie. Actually, I would almost like to see a Freddy vs. Jason vs. Michael Myers movie more so. Have I read the comics? I read issue 1, and then I don't know what happened. I don't know whether I got distracted. Maybe it was girls. I don't know. Who knows? Spot gets distracted a lot. I didn't read the rest of the comics, though. Which reminds me, that's something I really should go back. See, Spot's kind of compiling a list of stuff I need to go back and redo, or I have to go back and do. The comic books, though, I like the artwork. I just never finished reading them. I really need to get on that. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, though, I think would be a good concept for a movie, with the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, Freddy. I think that could work. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Michael Myers, definitely would love to see that. In fact, I started working on like a little kind of fan script for that. Maybe one day I'll share with you guys what I thought for ideas, and you guys can let me know. Next question comes to us from Liam Dolan, OTS. What is your holy grail in your figure DVD CD collection, and what advice would you give to new YouTube figure reviewers? I think I kind of answered that question down below for Action Panel, so I won't really answer that question about what advice would I give. But what is your holy grail in your figure DVD CD collection? So I guess there's a couple of ones. DVD collection, I would say probably my holy grail, or a couple of holy grails in my collection, are probably Never Sleep Again, the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary. That's a great documentary. That's like 6-7 hours long, but it's so good. Other ones, I'm trying to think of any ones that were really hard to come by. Stepfather 2 was a hard movie to come by. I had to find that through a seller on Amazon, I believe, to pick it up. The Care Bears Land Without Feelings was only available with the Care Bear. I picked that up, so that was a kind of a holy grail. I've picked up a lot of rare DVDs that I was lucky enough to get when they were just coming out that you can't find them anymore. For example, Fat Albert, I picked up that, the complete DVD set for that. I mean, of course, some DVDs get re-released, so they're a little easier to come by. Trying to think of anything else. Some horror movies are a little harder to come by as well. I think that's all I can think of right now, but I'm sure certainly there's a lot more that I can think of for holy grails. Figure holy grails for me and collection holy grails for me was the Superpowers Batmobile. I picked that up. Other holy grails, I'm really glad I picked up a lot of the Inhumanoids figures and like the Inhumanoids themselves. I mean, those are definitely such a cool find for somebody who grew up in the 80s. A lot of the Visionary figures. I still have the G.I. Joe. I still actually have the box too, which if I can find a big enough way to review it, I'll review it. The G.I. Joe Headquarters is a holy grail for me. Of course, like the Dagger Assault for Visionaries, the Lancer Cycle, the Capture Chariot, all of those vehicles are holy grails for me. So those are ones I really prize in my collection. Would be those ones there. Next question comes to us from Marty Jin 446, and I apologize. I think I always get his name wrong. He says, "Hi Spot, how are you? I'm actually quite good. My throat's a little sore because I'm doing these on the spot videos, but I certainly love answering all your questions for you guys." His question says, "OTS, I know you are a big fan of cats and that you have 4 of them. Do you actually like dogs? If so, what's your favorite sort of dog? My favorite sort of dog has always been a Dobermans. Love those animals." He says, "Greetings, Martigen 446. My parents have always had dogs. I've always had cats and dogs when I was younger. I love cats. I mean, for as much as I love dogs, I mean, I think I love cats about 10 times more. Cats are so self-sufficient. They come up and they lay on your lap. And dogs become a little needy for me. And having not owned a dog for the longest time because I don't live with my folks anymore and stuff like that, it's hard for me to kind of get into dogs again because I find if you've owned a dog, you don't notice it. But if you don't own a dog and then you go to somebody's house that does have a dog, you really notice that dog smell. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, that dog smell. Cats don't have that, which... So for me, I think if I was ever to get a dog again, I'd probably get a small dog. I'm not somebody that needs necessarily a huge dog. I'm very content with a very small dog. Some of my favorite dogs are Jack Russells, Pugs. I call them Scottish Terriers, but like the black dogs that are always seem to be Scottish in movies. I think there was a Scottish Terrier, which I don't think that's his name. Somebody told me its name is something else. The dog that was Toto in Wizard of Oz, I'd love to get a dog like that. Like really small dogs. So for me, that I would get a small dog, but again, like my favorites are like the Toto dog. That's not its name, I know. Scottish Terrier, which I think has a different name. Pugs. I love pugs. I think pugs are such cute dogs. Milo and Otis. I think that was a pug and a Milo and Otis. And finally, I think for this part, this section, the last question comes to us from Jason Simone, Simone. I don't think I've ever asked him how he pronounces his last name, but a big fan of his. I love watching his videos, and a good friend. OTS Spot, what would you think of a Hulk versus Doomsday fight? OTS, what do you think about Robert Downey Jr. maybe not coming back to play Tony Stark after Iron Man 3? Okay, so first question, what do I think of a Hulk versus Doomsday fight? I think that would be a really good fight. Hulk's definitely, I think, got the strength versus Doomsday. Doomsday's strong, but I think Hulk benefits from being somebody that can get angrier and get stronger as he gets angrier. Doomsday, I don't think we've established that he is anything more than really, really strong. I mean, granted, earlier ideas of Doomsday, which they've kind of just watered down now, but the earlier concepts of Doomsday is that you have a behemoth that if you kill him, he comes back immune to whatever killed him. Now granted, he's fought Superman since, and there's been clones of Doomsday and whatnot, but they've never really established Doomsday as that big threat that he was when he killed Superman the first time around. Having said that, I think he would be a good match for Hulk, but I think Hulk would definitely win over Doomsday. Whether that be the case that Doomsday Hulk could kill him and he would come back immune to Hulk, whatever that might mean, I think it would be a good fight, but I think Hulk would win. And this other question is, what do I think about Robert Downey Jr. maybe not coming back to play Tony Stark? I would love to see Robert Downey continue to be Tony Stark. I feel as if now he's done enough movies. It's not like James Bond. Batman, I know they've changed up the actor who's played Batman, but I feel almost with Tony Stark, I don't know if I could see somebody else playing Tony Stark. I mean, to me, Robert Downey Jr. really owns that title. He really owns that character. I can't really see him I can't see another actor being Tony Stark. I'd like to think that they could do more Iron Mans with Robert Downey Jr., but I feel as if Robert Downey Jr., if he doesn't want, the one day that he walks away from the role, I feel as if, and maybe it's because I'm not a huge Marvel fan, like Superman, I really only could see Christopher Reeve doing Superman, but now Henry Cavill doing Superman. I really think, you know what, he is such an awesome Superman from what we've seen so far of him. Maybe by the time I upload this video, I've already seen Superman, Man of Steel. But I feel because maybe I don't have a huge attachment to Iron Man, I really don't want to see anyone else but Robert Downey Jr. do Iron Man. That's just my preference. That's really just Spot's preference. But I really don't want to see anyone else but Robert Downey Jr. do Iron Man. Maybe they need to take a break from Iron Man and have him come back, and Robert Downey Jr. maybe could take a nice breath from doing him, that he will want to come back and reprise his role. But I would love to see Robert Downey Jr. continue to do the role. And you know what? If it means that Disney or whoever is funding this to give Robert Downey Jr. extra money, you know what? I say go for it. Give the man his extra money if it means he's going to reprise his role. I know some people are against the idea that actors can ask for such exuberant amount of money to reprise their roles or they won't do the role again. But you know what? These studios make so much money from movies like Avenger, movies like Iron Man, that why not give, if the guy wants like $40 million, give him $40 million. Or you know what, say, you know what, Robert Downey Jr., we can't give you as much, but we can give you a bigger percentage of the merchandise. I mean, that worked well for Jack Nicholson with Joker. It's happened very well with several actors who have made money from merchandise. So you know what, even if you say, Tony, I can't give Robert, I can't give you as much money for doing Tony Stark this time around, but I can give you a percentage, a bigger slice of the pie of the merchandising. Would you come back and do it? Maybe he would. But I really don't want to see anyone else but Robert Downey Jr. doing Tony Stark. If he does walk away from it, I think maybe we can just think about not doing any more Tony Iron Mans, or maybe just take a good chunk of time, you know, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years before we see another Iron Man. But I mean, that's just me, because I'm not a big Marvel fan. If it was Batman or if it was Superman, I would probably be a little more inclined to say, you know what, Christian Bale may not come back as Batman, but I want to see somebody else do the role. So I mean, it could be, it's me being biased because the fact I like DC more, but I really don't want to see anyone else doing Tony Stark. So thank you, as always, to Jason for sending me his question. What I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to obviously wrap this part up here, but certainly there are more parts heading your way for On the Spot 11. So at least stick around, guys. More on the way.